Good morning and welcome to another video around, especially focused on women with good girl syndrome. And the last live I did was around having unconditional peace in your heart for yourself. And today I want to move my light. Today I want to, that didn't really help, but let's see. It's this one. That's better. Okay. And today, there we go. And today I want to really looking at our human consciousness and the things that we can do for ourselves in these troubled times. And, at the very core of our existence lies this intricate interplay between our inner consciousness and the dynamic of our outer world, the world that we perceive. And our outer world is a manifestation of our collective inner consciousness. So when we look at the state of our society, we're seeing a reflection of humanity's current inner vibe and stage of development. And for me, for so many years, for almost 25 years, let's say 23 years, I've really worked on an individual level on my inner world and my inner landscape. So on an individual level, we each have our own inner landscape, and that's made up of our thoughts, beliefs, history, and that could be trauma, emotions, needs, desires, and all that conditioning that we've developed and we've received from we were very young. And that inner state, that shapes how we show up and how we interact in our relationships, communities, and in our world in general. And for me, my inner landscape has been the most important. One of my top values is growth, and for me to check in on a daily, weekly basis for this inner landscape has been a real source of contentment, but also relaxation, also my ability to meet the other. And so when we look at our inner landscape, for example, if you're somebody who's carrying a lot of anger and pain, you may project that hostility outwards through abusive or aggressive behavior. Unhealed inner wounds impact how we treat others. Yeah. On the other hand, or on the flip side, if you're someone who's cultivating self-love, emotional maturity, inner peace, you're more likely to exude warmth, be understanding of differences. Imagine that, what a concept, right? And contribute to our environments in a positive way. Our inner growth changes how we participate outward. And so in the last, I would say 3 years, I've become much more aware of the broader world that I live in, not just my intimate relationships, but the broader world, and more seeing how absolutely vital it is that we do our inner work. So when a large portion of people do their individual inner work, we can transform anger into empathy, fear into courage, hatred into compassion. It actually shifts the collective consciousness. And as more of us elevate internally, it expands society capacity for connection, inclusion, and our humanity as a whole. And I'm just actually at the tail end of my group program for women with good girl syndrome, Good Girls No More. And I see every week how, as we dig deeper, what we're actually able to find for ourselves is empathy for ourselves. Compassion, rather, right? We can see that as we continue to expose our inner worlds, and that's not always so pretty, right? But when we expose our inner worlds, what I see again and again is that we're met with love. We're met with understanding and empathy. So envisage, or if we have a vision of society where the pursuit of self-reflection and this relentless quest for personal growth, when that's woven into the very fabric of our existence, magic can happen. So in this existing tapestry of human potential, individuals can enthusiastically embrace the responsibility of their emotions, courageously confront their traumas, and fearlessly challenge the shackles of our limiting beliefs. And in fact, these are things that we've been looking at in these weeks now with the Good Girls No More. Really starting with our conditioning, what traumas are there? And then how can we challenge the limiting beliefs? Looking at how we self-abandon, how we can build up strong boundaries, loving boundaries, so we can meet the other with ease and grace. And empathy is really the lifeblood of our relationships. And empathy can really flow freely when we move beyond rigid boundaries. And we can really start celebrating the differences that we have. And that doesn't have to mean that we cannot meet. A friend of mine a few years ago, when we were deeply disagreeing on a big topic, and she said, let's agree to disagree. So that means we don't have to always be right. Can we meet each other in our differences and respect the other? So the collective consciousness can be elevated to new heights. Even institutions, social structures can find harmony through collective well-being. So the way, from the perspective of inner healing, inner consciousness, the way I see it is that the evolution of society really does depend on the evolution of human consciousness. So that means it's vital for each of us to embark on this pilgrimage of self-discovery, of healing, of growth. And then as we unlock our own potential, we can become the catalyst for collective healing, for collective metamorphosis, shaping a world that aligns with values of compassion, equality, peace, individual peace, and then collective peace. And then as we find wholeness within, we can integrate our shadow sides, the things that we've kind of shoved into dark inner corners of our psyche, and we've locked the door and thrown away the key. Meeting those shadows, shedding light on those shadows, healing that part, resolving inner conflicts. And then we can actually come together with greater harmony. And then begin to actualize the collective potential for a peaceful world. But It starts with the inner changes that each and every one of us are responsible for making first. And nobody can do that inner growth, that inner change for us. We have to do it for ourselves. And we have to want to do it. You know, the amount of times I've had clients who, what can I say to my husband or wife or beloved for example, for them to do this work or to do the path of love, whatever inner group process they want to do. And we cannot bring our beloveds, force them to do something they're not willing to do themselves. It's like there's an expression, you can bring a horse to water, right? But you can't force them to drink. So it's up to each and every one of us to want to make a difference, first for ourselves, and then that can ripple effect out into the greater world that we live in. And our shared future will reflect our individual efforts to grow. And you know, it's not as big a stretch as some of you might think. You can simply start by engaging in introspective practices such as journaling, meditation, breath work. You know, journaling is fantastic, you know, really contemplating to gain insight into your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, looking at things like what are your values, what are your needs, all of which that we've been looking at in Good Girls No More. To increase the depth, your depth, you can start exploring, reconnecting with and healing your wounded inner child. And that's where you can start addressing unmet needs from childhood. Yeah, questioning the limiting beliefs that you've grown up with, maybe inherited from your family of origin. Nurturing self-compassion, self-acceptance. And you can do that, but when you share honestly and openly with others, you often find that there's just meeting of equals. We're not so different. But on the surface, we think we're so different. I mentioned breath work earlier. Breath work can also support the body to feel more deeply. We're often, you know, when we're scared or startled, we stop breathing or we breathe shallow. As you start breathing deeply, journeying into spaces hidden deep within, perhaps where trauma lives in the body, you can release that, find more relaxation and feeling at home in the body. And of course, you can work with a professional like me. I'm a trained counselor. I've been a coach for over 20 years, and I'm a breathwork practitioner. And you know, when you go to a counselor or any professional to work on your mental and emotional health, it can feel daunting in the beginning. But it can also be the most healing things you ever do for yourself. And you give yourself the opportunity to be seen, to be heard, and to have your pain witnessed. And this can be an incredibly validating and empowering experience. It can also help you to understand your pain better. And actually your pain can be soothed and even disappear. Living with the remnants of pain, the memory might not go away, but the pain can be eased. And develop strategies, healthy strategies, to help you live with things that have been so painful from the past. And it would be my joy and honor to support you in that. And so, thank you for chiming in. And from my heart to yours, I wish you a beautiful rest of your week. And please reach out if you would like my support. I will welcome a call or an email. Bye for now.